just tried to make it and it cut off because I didn't have enough space. So, let's try this part 2. I never made a recap video of the Bayfield trip. August 23rd on Heavy on Wrestling Legendary card. So, I'm going to make a somewhat of a little video here. Hopefully it won't be as long-winded as I was the first time, but I only got 16 more minutes of talk time. I might just be a little more talkative. Walked in, of course, wearing the BWO shirt now. It's forever entombed. Big Stevie cool, so get over here. Luke Hawx pointed or tapped him on the shoulder and pointed to me. Again, I was the guy indirectly, I'll say, to get him to the show, because Luke had put up on Facebook after the Duluth show, me and Scott Summers and him had the BWO shirt on then. He's like, Michael Manna, his real name. Why aren't you in Duluth? This guy's wearing a BWO shirt. He wants to know what's going on. Stevie says I wasn't booked for it. I'm like, well, we're gonna change that for the next show. And then one of the co-promoters, the co-owners, said, hey, get in touch with me to Stevie that, well, we're gonna work something out. And so for him to be there, I'm such a big Stevie Cool fan. I've always loved the BWO, because I consider myself like the Blue Meanie type out of that, obviously. I can do more than just the hand gyrations, though, and the Scott Hall stuff. And he had the world of potential, and just injuries always seemed to catch up with him. The right to censor stuff, oh, they brought that back today. Today, that thing it'd be as big as it was back then, and nobody better pull a plug on that bullshit now. So that was awesome. I need to get a new shirt, though. But the Luke Hawx shoot interview, just south of 4 hours long. It's like 3:55, but I loved it. I mean, I didn't want it to end. It was 4 hours, and I didn't want it to end because I was just that involved with it. But turn this down a little bit. I don't need to hear about Ray Rice for about the 50th time today. This was incredibly important. That he also hates Elijah Burke, which I do with an immense passion, because he's just a fucking arrogant prick who has very limited talent. His mic skills are even more limited than his in-ring talent. But Elijah Burke can suck a fucking cock. Then got this, saw it in Duluth, and I just shaked his hand in Duluth. I didn't know how much the book was. I didn't have a particularly large amount of money with me. I didn't want to I still had to get gas for the way back and whatnot. So I'm like, I just shook his hand and said, thank you for all you've done. I mean, I remember vividly, obviously, the ECW reincarnation match with RVD, him getting his back cut open, and so that's probably my favorite match, my being him, Mr. Holly. And that's always going to resonate with me, because again, his back was sliced open from going through a table, and it's like, I didn't know how bad it was cut until it went to the back. No pun intended. About the book, you got the little auto picture there, and signed it there to Naomi. I got a couple shirts too. I'll mention those down the road here. So I started up a binder with her stuff in it. That it's a lot easier than keeping about 40 8x10 frames around. We just don't have the room. But Scott Summers, Kings of the Underground. His daughter's half Filipina too, which it looked that way on his Facebook. I'm like, man, that looks a lot like Naomi. And when he saw her, he's like, you were right. And well, Naomi, you were beautiful. Scott Summers, he hugged her a couple times too, and of course someone didn't get the camera ready for that. Why would you? Rick Steiner's pen cobbed up on him. You can see up here the silver ink from it. I mean, it's just wet all over. But right here is like the two Naomi. Best wishes, Rick Steiner. He was real nice, real quiet though, which you'll hear more about in a moment. Darren Corbin, one of the best, I'd say, antagonists or instigators on the indie scene right now. Widow guy, but still, just can get under people's skin quick. To Naomi, this is a great gift for you. So again, I support him as well. That very cool guy. I'll have to buy. He's got some shirts for sale. I know next time there's a show and he's there, that we're gonna make sure that I get something out of his locker. Bought a shirt from Eric Cannon, the Anarchist. I should got one more auto of him, of this picture to another guy that I've been friends with on the forums for probably 12 years now. Yeah, it must be 12, 13 years. Because he's a huge PBR guy, and I didn't even think of it till we left the show. I'm like, shit. But he's been on, Eric's been on Wrestling Society X, maybe. God, I know there's another, something else too, where he's wrestled. I mean, he's not a huge name, but everybody who watches a lot of wrestling should have maybe heard of his name. Like this guy. Got a shirt of Jake too. It's like Jake the Snake Roberts 2014 Hall of Fame, finally. Something like that. So he was willing to cut deals on combos, but he had gotten there late. So there was a ton of people waiting for him, so I had to get in, get out quickly, because he was sweating. He was sweating big time. I mean, I was sweating a lot too, but he was really sweating, and then the news came out where he's hospitalized with double pneumonia, and I'm like, well, that makes sense, that he looked like he had been sweating a ton. So got that. The Luke Hawks again. King of the Indies and Shamrock Cup champ, 2013. Shamrock Cup's out in Maryland. King of the Indies was something voted online. Again, I hope he gets to, at least, he's been in dark matches in WWF, plenty of them. He had, again, on the shoot interview, but I'd like to see him get a little push. Just because I think that Kings of the Underground stuff could work. Unfortunately, everybody's small. I mean, that's the one thing I found interesting. When the next to these guys, Jake is tall. He's as tall as he looked, because he always looked tall. And then Booker T. Everyone else, I was pretty much their size. And I'm not a tall dude, I'm 5'10". So and when everybody says, oh, Hogan's like 6'8", nah, I bet she's about 6'3", 6'4". To Naomi. Rhea Daivari, who was the champ, and Sean Daivari's brother. Used to wrestle in WWF. Scotty, he's another, just like Rick, real shy, not shy, reserved. When he got on the mic later in the show, he got a good promo, and he's swearing up a storm, and I'm like, God, this is Scott Steiner. This is the Big Papa Pump. So, got his auto, got a picture with him. That's the only bad part. He was charging 20 up auto and 20 with a picture. I mean, if you could have said just $30 for the pair, cut a deal, but no, when I'm like, it's Steiner. I've been such a fucking huge fan of his for so many years. Since he went to that persona, that just the ass persona, just I don't give a shit. I love that, so obviously. This was from Duluth show, Beefer. Another didn't have much to say there either, which, whatever. 2011 Nationals, I got Mr. Kennedy. Craven Knight, who Maven, and Christopher Daniels had a child. That is what he looked like. Found out he uses his last name from his dad, Lance Archer, also Lance Hoyt in TNA, and had a run in the ECW, WWF as a Lance Archer. That he's a tall cat too. I thought he was I thought he was taller because he's always paired with Kid Cash, but Kid Cash must be a real little guy. That Hoyt's big. He's a legit 6'5", 6'5", 6'6", and he had gotten there a little later too, but nobody was around him. I'm just like, why are you people around here? I mean, again, watch some wrestling if you don't know these people. I don't know how many people should be there. And oh, the art from a guy over in Japan. That's why, I love that. And speaking of art, Big Stevie Cool. I think he had 4 or 5 pictures, which, if he should happen to show up at the next event, I will be probably getting them all, just because I love Big Stevie Cool. And for me having an indirect effect on him being there, that when we got in, Luke Hawx was poking him in the shoulder saying, hey, and pointing to me, and I could see that, him saying, and there he is, that's the guy. Because I had, again, the BWO shirt on, and again, somebody's going to recognize that right away. It's going to be him. And big smile on his face, such as the picture here. And he's like, get over here. I'm going to sign that shirt right away. And I'm giddy. I'm a huge ECW mark, as anybody who watches wrestling and knows me knows this. Again, over there on that bookshelf, not this one, that one, the bottom 2. So you see the rocking horse. There's like 2 of those shelving things full of ECW DVDs. But when the Duluth show was done, I got a picture with Luke Hawx and Scott Summers on Luke's cell phone. Sent the picture to Stevie, Michael Manna. Said, why the hell and put on Facebook, why the hell aren't you here? This guy wants to know. Had the BWO shirt on that, and he's like, I wasn't booked. I was like, we gotta change that for the next show. I want to see you wrestle, I want to meet you. I mean, you're Big Stevie Cool. Fuck. You need to be up in the Midwest so people can see you. So then one of the co-owners or whatever of the Heavy on Wrestling, that dog, said, hey, get in touch with me, to Stevie, and we'll work something out. So he was there, and then when that co-promoter came up to me and said, are you happy? Your boy Stevie's here. I'm like, I got you Stevie Richards. So I was beyond thrilled. I mean, I know a lot of people, and a couple of my friends came there, and the ones, I've been around the wrestling guys now for 10, 15 years, and I see enough of them, and I've talked to them. I still get giddy. I'm a kid, because again, if I could have met all the guys when I was a kid that I looked up to, I'd have underwear collection the size of Jamaica, but 98% of it would be dirty because I'd be shitting my pants so much. I'm meeting these guys. It's just, again, you come from the small town, you get so amped up. It's just like, man, this is somebody I've watched 15, 20 years. So, I was just beyond excited. And he could sense that too, I believe that. Nationals 2011, Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Piper, he's a shorter guy too. I know he's older, so maybe some height shrinking now. But he was on Raw a couple weeks before too. But real nice guy, and again with Naomi being there, it helped a lot with like Booker T, Jake the Snake, Piper, where I'm sure they just saw a guy with a beard, which, look now. Shaved it off Sunday night. It had been a year, so I'll grow it back. Don't worry. Don't get all amped. They'll just see the beard and then, whatever, what a fucking idiot. But then they see her and she's smiling, giggling, having fun, and then that brightens their day. And I think Teresa kissed Piper, so maybe she'll have a new husband. He's good people too, but I think he was running ragged. He had, I don't know how many interviews and whatnot, so I know he's running ragged. ODB, Minnesota girl, wasn't wrestling, but it was up there just to sign autographs. I'm like, hell yeah. I love her in TNA, and pretty much typical Minnesota gal that throws it all out there and says, if you don't like it, fuck off. Good people. I'll show up some pictures here in a moment. Oh, when I get done with this shit. Booker T, another great guy, tall. Wish again I could have talked to him, Steiner, Jake longer, but everybody's in such a, not a rush, but everybody wanted to, the show was fast approaching, and again, you gotta get ready for the show, get all backstage, all that shit, so I wanted to ask him about his infamous promo on Hulk Hogan. If you don't know, watch the WWE Network. It's only $9.99 a month with a 6-month commitment. Victoria, or Tara, one of the most nice, genuine people I've met that has any hint of fame behind them. That she wanted to talk more than the people wanted her that were taking pictures at Nationals. That it's like, yeah, we gotta go, and she kept talking, and I'm like, believe me, I want to sit here and talk wrestling all day, but if I'm gonna get heat, I want to get it my way. I don't want to get it through people hating me through you. So I got that. Got this from Tim Mousy from a show out in West Virginia. He had gotten a few autos for me. Showed them, I think, in a video 2 months back, maybe end of June, mid-July, somewhere in there. The rookie monster, the War Machine Rhino. Angle, 2011 Nationals. Sanjay Dutt, another one Tim got. I first watched him in 2002 on Sunshine Network, September of 2002, and was just blown away by him and AJ Styles, and that's when TNA just started up. I'm like, man, this is gonna be fun. Another one from Tim. She's still alive, Francine, but Candido and Bam aren't. So Shane Douglas, which my boy Luke Hawx doesn't have many rave reviews for, but again, he's part of wrestling history. It was his favorite. He's one of my favorites because he's just such an over-the-top ass that, again, you can't help but like him. This was from the Twins Fest in January. I picked the Pittsburgh one because, again, he even looked at the pictures like, that is a cool picture. I'm like, I figured I wanted to get something different that you hadn't seen in a while. And it's like, well, you succeeded, so I guess I win. And then 3 more. Trevor Plouffe, Anthony Swarzak, and Terry Steinbach, which I asked him the question, how was that A's locker room in the late 80s? So again, you had McGuire, Canseco, Cadillac, Dave Henderson himself, Eckersley, Dave Stewart, Bob Welch, Carney Lansford. I know I'm missing a picture too, and I can think of them, and I can't think of their names. You had Gallego. 89, you had The Wizard, Part 2, Walt Weiss. So, he just said it was it was different. But there's the collection of autos. Oh. What's up? So we'll roll through these pictures if you're not a Facebook friend. Me and Big Stevie cool, which I think she jiggled it, because that comes out clearer. Luke Hawks, who again I'm such a fan of. He's from New Orleans, so you got the whatever that symbol is. And there again, that's how tall Scott Steiner is. I want to ask Booker too about King Booker. And if Nash would have actually shown up instead of pulling out for the Magic Mike 2 tapings or going to Raw for Hogan's thing or whatever it was, I wanted to ask him about the European rules. And there's ODB. Look at Naomi. Jake the Snake. I don't know what she's doing there. Don't. The dude taking a picture of us waiting, or on Piper signing. And there again, that's Piper. He's the little dude. Rip through some of these. The setup was outside. Booker T. With ringside seats. Birthday week, and I was not gonna not splurge on that. And then Daivari came out. And I know a bunch of these guys use these pictures. He has, what picture is it? He had a picture, one of those pictures he used for his his Facebook picture for a while there. And here Scott Summers used one I took too. Which again, I'm sure you're just all fucking thrilled with Scott Summers. Because he faced using the match with Corbin and Stevie Richards to determine the #1 contender for the title. Jake in the ring. There's a tag team match. Oh, X-Pac was there too. Fuck, I forgot. But the people around him, he seemed, I don't want to say juiced up. This guy too. John Johnson. Oh. Looks like a Mason Ryan Batista dude. Man, is he just a... I like him. He's another, well, it's wrestling, so... And then, where the hell is it? I don't know how he's gotten the... Here. Tim. Denny. Look. Scott Steiner's back. Let me see that. I had one more. Look at that. I mean, I literally, the two guys were sitting, we were in the front row and they're sitting just to my left, a couple seats back, and they're just, I looked back at them and they're both at their mouths wide open as well, just because, again, nobody's really seen Steiner since he left TNA, and I'm like, holy shit. I like these pictures. A couple of these came out nice. And Naomi's intently watching. And then Hawks, a no DQ match with Holly. There's Summers getting Alabama slammed. And then Hawks is going up. He did like a... Again, I don't know. I should have asked him what his finisher is. But the dude next to me was up all the time, so... He did like it's a buff blockbuster type move, and he won. And then here's me and the two buddies. The one on the left is the one that watches wrestling, and the one, or he's in the cities and he'll watch a lot of the shit live. And then Johnny, the one that's smiling on the right, I've known him since we were diapers. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. So take her easy, YouTube. She's easy.